It's very lonely. Like your friends will become your clients. Like I've had clients that have turned into friends, and it's quite funny, but like you need a set of friends, right? Because it's a very lonely journey. So
like the major question, like legit, the major question I faced was that you're leaving like a good LPA job and coming down to, earning like, like a 30,000 or a 40,000 per month. Like, why? Why are you doing this?
People and owners of small companies coming and telling me, you need to, sometimes your client wants to see the car you're driving, and it is a lot of show sharp.
And the thing is that the carrot that they've been dangling is that you need to work hard for the first 5 years to be able to, survive, later or have a comfortable life. अब हो गए यार 5 साल हो गए 10 साल हो गए कब आ रहा है comfortable life.
you're an adult. If you've decided to quit your job and you think that you are able to do this yourself, quitting your job, lazing around, and then taking money from your parents is not the best way to do it.
So, hi guys, I am the host, Simple Johnny, and I'm super glad that you guys are here. So, thank you for being a part. This episode is all about the Great Resignation, the whole wave that's still trending, by the way, where a lot of people decided to break free from the jobs that they were so used to, the corporate culture. And what led to that? Obviously, it's not just the breaking away from that lifestyle, but also it led to a lot of conversations on why is this happening, why is it needed, the good of it, the bad of it. And so we have all three of you here who've also started your solopreneur journey, as to speak, the new trendy term. And what's it's been like for you guys, the good of it, the bad of it, because we usually read about it and we just suddenly see some random LinkedIn success story saying that, oh, here is, I have so many followers and so many clients and this and that. But like, what is it that really takes that? And what's the journey been like? So all of you are from different fields. And I would love to know more about what you guys do. So if you could all start with a small introduction of each one of you, we can take it from there.
Hi guys, Arunita. Very interesting. I think I'm around 12 to 13 years in the marketing and advertising industry. Have been working like way and about, for everything I was passionate about, and saw the COVID happen, realized who I was as a person, as a boss, as a leader, where I was faltering, found really great people around, and decided to actually take the jump, because it was just something that I realized it needs to be done. I needed to pause and then begin. And for the longest, I was contemplating on what it should be. And sometimes there's no shame in accepting what you're good at, even if it is a cliche. So I kind of took the route that, I am good in management, I'm good in strat, I'm good in creative, and I'm good in PR. Means meeting the likes of you, talking, leading into a conversation and things like that, which kind of led me to something that I've called BrandSheep. It's a collective, not calling it an agency. It's not in a classic agency, communication agency, or marketing agency structure. It's more collaborative, it's freelance, trying to create a subculture zone in it, trying to create more content spaces in it, trying to create more conversations that can be led. And that's what I'm doing.
So I have been into writing for 4 years now. So since 2019. So I took a sort of a career switch. I was into content writing earlier, and I used to do, the blog writing and Spanish language and all. And then I came into advertising. So in advertising, I truly realized that, okay, my passion lies, in the advertising industry, writing for all the things that people actually see. So that's how I came into copywriting. And then I was into full-time copywriting, but then I realized a lot of things, and then I did made my own way into freelancing. And it's about now almost 2 years I have been freelancing, and I'm really happy. I'm following my passion and I love what I'm doing. And yeah, I look forward to freelancing is something that I take it as my career, and I look forward to growing that.
Hi everybody, I'm Vanchika Mehta. I quit my job on a whim in 2019, being like, we'll figure it out. And I was not prepared for what was to come. So I quit in November 19 and was like, theek hai, like shadi season and all, 2020, we'll figure it out. And then, we know what all happened. But since then, I am now a brand strategist. I do brand strategy and marcoms for D2C and tech and SaaS companies. I work with very early stage founders to help them set the kind of foundation of their house and to help them define what their brand is, because a lot of these entrepreneurs have such great ideas, but they struggle with narrowing down, like, what matters to the customer and how am I going to sell my product. So that's what I help with. I've worked with some of India's biggest companies, and it's just been an amazing journey. I think the opportunities that I've gotten, right from LinkedIn's Top Voice last year to say hosting the Digital Asia Summit, this weekend, it has really been an amazing journey, and I'm grateful that I quit my job on a whim, because had I not, these opportunities would not have come through. So I think it was a good, bad decision, and now it's definitely a well worth decision.
That's lovely. That's lovely. It just feels great to, hear from, all of us, like me, myself included, that we made the switch and it just doesn't feel like, you took the wrong decision, because, that's the first thing that comes to your mind, that, how bad could this be, right? That's what you ask yourself. Which is what basically brings us to the main question of why this specific topic itself, right? Because I saw a lot of people talking about the Great Resignation, and it had to do a lot with the pandemic at that time, because a lot of people were also losing their jobs, right? So, and at a time of uncertainty, to make that switch is quite a bold move. So what is it that actually made you guys make the switch? Because a lot of people at that time were trying to hold on to their jobs, no matter how toxic the culture had become. Their pay grade was being reduced to quite a big amount, and they were trying to hold on to the job because all of us were scared for a lot of reasons, which was very fair enough. And from, I think, 2020 to 2022, this entire span, what is it that was not working out for you? And then why the switch happened? So was it like an epiphany one day, you're like, no, I'm gonna like not put up with this anymore, I'm gonna do something completely different? And also, like, the support then surrounds you, because it's not just a one person's decision. Mostly you with your family, or you alone, or with your partner, or whoever. So what will like for you guys from that context?
I quit my job because my mentor randomly told me over coffee at Cafe Coffee Day कि job छोड़ दो. He's like, job छोड़ दो, 3 महीने try कर लो, देखते हैं क्या होता है. And that joke has been going on since like 2019 November December time, because it was just a casual conversation. He said it so confidently, because I was just telling him about like the fact that India is such a booming market with startups, and there's so much of good stuff happening. Like when you're in a job, like you can't do everything, right? And I'm the kind of person that wants to be like right in the midst of where the fire is, igniting. So he was just like, I was just complaining about the fact that like there's so much I want to do, there's so much I want to learn, and at a corporate job you learn, but it takes a lot longer to learn. And like I'm glad he said it so casually and gave me the confidence, because like I don't have a degree in brand strat. I have a degree in marketing and management. And from there to actually like, and I was already at this point reading about brand strategy, talking to people, like it got me very interested, but like I have no like real degree in it. But at the same time, because I quit and I was like, okay, I'm going to do this and I'm going to make a name for myself. Like I learned so much in the last 2 years that it's absolutely crazy. Like I'm like literally like, if someone asked me to write a book on brand strat, I could do it right now. It might not be the best book, but like it'll be simple and practical because that's how I have learned how to do it. But yeah, that's my story. And I think I mean, part of like why I quit, like I said, is because it was not giving me what I wanted personally, forget professionally. Like the way that I am as a person, like it was not reflecting in my job. And now I'm really glad because I get to do that. I get to work with multiple startups across the globe. Like there's nothing stopping you on the opportunity when you're a freelancer and when you're a solopreneur. And now I'm going to become an agency owner very soon. It's just immense and crazy. And it's like for everyone that's not quit their job, I don't think there's any better time to quit your job than yesterday.
Absolutely. That's very well put. Very well put. That's true. So do you feel that you have, like, because you speak of your mentor, and not a lot of people push you to that direction because they would want the good people to work with them. I mean, that's what we've also grown up saying, "Hey, why are you going there? Nothing is going to happen." Because they want to work with the best people, people they trust. So do you think that that sort of a support has helped you kind of not only just pivot in that direction, but also know that, I can trust my capabilities? Because it does get scary, right? Like the first client, the second client doesn't work out. One feedback you get and you're like, okay, am I even doing this right? Can I do this myself? Questions like that. So do you think that that sort of a support has helped you, uh, you know, survive and do it so much more ferociously, so to speak?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of times, like, imposter syndrome is a very real thing. Like,
Absolutely.
you feeling that you can't do it, like, this happens to me like almost like once a week. I'm like so used to it at this point. I'm just like, bhag yaar, yahan se bhago, bhago. I don't need this in my life right now. But it's very easy to feel imposter syndrome when you're starting out. So to have someone that believes in you, and someone that is there to back you up, like as a friend and as a mentor, is so important. At the same time, like I was already kind of active on LinkedIn, but I got way more active like in 2020 after I quit my job. And the kind of people that I've talked to, the kind of conversations I've had, I always feel like that place has given me people that I can trust and rely on. Like irrespective, I know we met on a virtual platform, but like now they're real true friends, which is the best way to meet people, and has been for the last 2 years because we were all almost always stuck at home. It's just given me that sense of comfort that, like, it's okay if you mess up. You will feel that you can't do it, but like someone is telling you can, which means they know that you can. And then you just have to get up and kick butt and just go ahead and do it. And I think it's immensely helpful to have that community of people, a mentor, even just a friend to talk to, right? Like I think
Yeah.
solopreneurship is very lonely, and not many people understand or even take account of it, right? When you're like yourself working every day, and if you don't make the effort to go out and talk to someone or meet someone, you're gonna have no friends. It's very lonely. Like your friends will become your clients. Like I've had clients that have turned into friends, and it's quite funny, but like you need a set of friends, right? Because it's a very lonely journey. So people to support you, people to guide you, people to mentor you, I think is the biggest hack to doing this right.
Absolutely, that's true. Because it is a very lonely journey, and you suddenly realize that you're so used to working in a certain setup, and then if you're not feeling well, no work is getting done. So it's you. So and you need people to constant, like in office. I think that a lot of things come with the interactions you have with others, right? Like even in terms of ideas and in terms of how you approach something. Yeah, you brainstorm over the breaks, the famous breaks and all of that. So yeah, Saumya, Arunita, what about you guys?
Yeah, sure. So I started, in a very good company, like with all that pump and show. Oh my goodness, I've got this offer at a very young age. I've got this company and all. But then as I realized in my journey that this was something that I wasn't looking forward to because, the work that I was doing, I wasn't getting satisfied with, the growth and the productivity level that I was getting there. And that was just at a time when, COVID started, and taking such a decision, that, you've got a job and then, quitting it and, following something that you're really into was really a tough decision for me. But yes, I had the support of my parents always. They've always been like, follow your passion, somewhere, whatever, irrespective of whatever it comes, we are always there. So definitely that really helped. And then that job actually, sort of was was a, what do you say, like a catalyst in my journey, which made me realize that, okay, what my true passion is. And then I started, copywriting, and I started freelancing. And then I finally, after, like, it took me about a month to, overthink and, get overwhelmed, and then decide, yeah, I really need to quit. And then after, really like days of overthinking, I finally put in my resignation. And then I started freelancing. And then I started my journey. But that was also, a bit of tough, because coming from a product side going into advertising is really a transition that is generally tough, and people are not ready to accept you. Like, the major question, like legit, the major question I faced was that you're leaving like a good LPA job and coming down to earning like like a 30,000 or a 40,000 per month. Like, why are you doing this? So this was one of the questions that literally was a barrier in me entering into advertising. So then I started with internship, and because I really wanted to come into copywriting, so I started with internship. I remember I used to get paid like only 10K per month, and I used to work somewhere around 12 to 13 hours a day, because that was the full-time advertising culture. But then again, though I worked there for like 2 to 3 months, and I realized that whatever I'm putting in, I also need to, I mean, my expenses also needs to be justified. So that was the time when I realized that, okay, and also the mental health was taking a lot of toll, because you had meetings legit at 1 a.m. at night. I'm not kidding. Like, we used to have these meetings, and this was really like a maddening hustling culture there. So that's why, then again, I made the switch. I quit that job, and then I entered into freelancing. And now I'm really blessed. I feel really happy, because I do feel that, you are your own boss. You can manage your time the way you want to. You take the projects that you're keen into, your passion actually flourishes. So yeah, right now I'm really happy. I'm really satisfied, and I do look forward to, freelancing.
That's really nice, Saumya. And it feels very good to, kind of hear it from other people what you're going through, because you just constantly feel that, oh no, this is only in my head. This is only in my head.
Exactly.
So that's amazing. Arunita,
Yeah.
over to you.
Yeah, so I think I gave you guys a glimpse of what actually I did, but I have been a late quitter to this resignation movement. I don't know whether I'm still a part of it or a tertiary part of it. I resigned in June, July of this year, so in a way 2022. And I was in my prime in the last 3 years of my career where COVID happened. There was a 1 month of slug, but it went on. Okay, it was great. I was flourishing. I was doing this. So what? My juniors are unwell. I'm doing 14 hours a day, to the point that I am facing personal anxiety, anger issues. So many things. Slowly, I started all of these things started, coming out at people who didn't deserve it, and that kind of gave me, I went in a spiral day in day out. And somewhere I think I had very good culture set of friends who were willing to pull me out of it. And I think this year when Top Gun released, I was just in that one evening. I have like a show at 11:13 world mark, and like one evening I'm having a spiral down, and suddenly my husband goes like, you know what, just do it yourself.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened, what not. I went to see the movie. There was an instance where somebody buys beer, and and there's an issue with it, and there was a certain relevant situation around which I was going through. And I think two side of my friends were like, this is what you're going through. You're buying the beer, but you're not getting paid for it.
Yeah.
So that went on. Went and I took, like, studied a lot into what I want to do. I actually went out for a trek. I did a small trek of like 7 days. I was like, if I want to just push myself to the fact that, do I want comfort, or do I want to kind of push myself to that edge where situation is making me think and innovate. That's what I wanted to be in that position, while the business and everything was great. And that kind of led me to jump off the grid. And yes, I'm still I'm living out of my husband's money. So it's not a great,
Yeah,
this thing.
I know.
But so what? Like it's flourishing. I am seeing a cash flow. I'm seeing a pipeline happening for me, and that's what kind of is making me exciting. And brilliantly, I have attracted a couple of set of really nice people who are willing to kind of be part or learn that part of that vision, to just as Vanshi said, you always had that, she always had that one set of people who were going through the same thing again and again. And I see younger kids probably more smarter than we were ever, right? And so what, you just stand shoulder to shoulder and build something that you collectively build. So that's have been my story. Challenges once a week, that definitely happens to me. The charging energy, I think it happens because we sit at home at times, and it's just the energy we are attracting, and it's just playing around. So I have started stepping out once a day, even if it is for a coffee or a call. So I probably try to take a call outside than inside, even if it is a this. It's going great, guys, from my end. Yeah.
Lovely. So when all of you speak of how that's this, like you speak of the one day, or Vanshika spoke of feeling alone in the journey at times. And I've also started realizing, because in agencies, like, they are your friends, they are your colleagues. You don't have any other life outside what you're living there. You're there for whatever, say, for 14 hours. And there was a time in my life that when I started off, and I felt that I got PCOD while working like crazy hours. I just looked at myself in the mirror one day, and I was hating who I was seeing, because there were dark circles, and I was looking a certain way, and I was feeling, because there was no personal life, right? And the thing is that the carrot that they've been dangling is that you need to work hard for the first 5 years to be able to survive later, or have a comfortable life. अब हो गए यार, 5 साल हो गए, 10 साल हो गए, कब आ रहा है comfortable life? And you just realize that because you keep growing up the ladder, the more responsibilities keep coming on you. And because you don't want to be like a mentor who puts your junior in that position, you keep taking up more jobs. So it's like a vicious cycle that never ends, right? But right now, that even when you are in this journey, and from what we speak of, all of us are in different journeys, in the sense, like, someone started before, someone started recently. How do you guys deal with the challenges? Like, like one of it, what you spoke of, is that you step outside, because it feels like, like social media, so much is happening, people are going on like office parties, there's like Holi, Diwali bonus, and stuff like that. So I'm sure you feel that there's a culture that I'm missing out on, and is it going to be like this always, right? So do you guys, how do you deal with that sort of mental journey? Because if one client puts you down and gives you some sort of a feedback, you, like the imposter syndrome that you were talking about, that's one part of it. But
Yeah.
other things, going about your day, most importantly, the schedule, right? Because I just, for the life of me, could not wake up before 2. I was like so happy that nobody's questioning me. Then I realized I have to, like, put it back. The schedule that we're so used to in a corporate setup. So how do you guys go about it? Like, in terms of the struggles that you face, or in terms of approaching the work life? Because I also want people who are like listening to this to sort of not have a guardrail, but have an idea of what a day looks like,
Yeah.
in the life of someone who started their own personal journey. So
I'll
what is
take
it?
that.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Um, I think one of the pros, like you mentioned, of freelancing and being an agency owner and a solopreneur, is that nobody's going to tell you what to do, right?
Absolutely.
And the biggest con of that is that if no one's telling you what to do, how much self-discipline do you have?
Absolutely.
Correct.
Which is why I talk about routine a lot. Like with new freelancers, routine is so important, because it is so easy to slip out of a routine, that if it happens and you let it happen to you and you let it keep happening, you're going to realize that your productivity is going to dip, your motivation is going to dip. There's so many after effects, right, of just not having a routine. Like, for example, irrespective if I have work or not, I am up by 9:30, whether I'm sitting on my sofa and doing something, or I'm like chilling and like on the phone with my best friend. Like I am up every day at the same time. I start work at about the same time. I generally always have a 11 o'clock call because that is like a a good start to the day. Like 11,
Yeah.
I always set 11 o'clock call because I know for a fact I have to be ready by 11. And that's a really good way to start off my day. And then also like on my calendar, like I set up like lunch. I literally block out lunch. If I want to spend an hour doing something on my own, I will block it out in my calendar. So routine and systems and processes are so important because at the end of the day, right, like when you're working for yourself, that's a question that I keep asking myself also, right? How much money is too much money? And how much is not enough, right? Which is why I tell all new freelancers, like I think the first thing you need to do is understand like minimum how much you need to earn per month. Like what are your expenses down to the T? Like if you like having a beer every day, add that 100 rupees in, right? Because all of this small stuff, right, you are going to have to pay for it. No one's going to pay for you. So start with your minimum, like minimum is here. Yeah, start with your minimum of like what is it that I need to earn to support myself, and then set an aspirational number, right? And the reason that I say that is because that is possible in a freelance career, right? It is totally possible to reach that aspiration. So having a minimum number means that, okay, I have failed as a solopreneur or as a freelancer if I didn't make 50,000 a month, right? You're an adult. If you've decided to quit your job and you think that you are able to do this yourself, quitting your job, lazing around, and then taking money from your parents is not the best way to do it, right? That will make them feel that you are irresponsible, and yes, you are irresponsible. So set that minimum number and literally put in every little expense you can think of. Just look at your bank statements for the last 6 months, right? Because that is the ultimate truth, right? How much money are you spending every single month? Look at it for 6 months, and then set a goal that like in 6 months I want to be earning 1.5 times this. And it is possible, right? And you stick that number. Like I know this sounds very stupid, but in front of your workplace, right, wherever you work, write that number down and stick it somewhere, or have it in your book where you look at it every day, because that is what's going to get you like A, scared that like, okay, I'm that far away from my aspirational number, and B, it's going to kick your butt at the right time saying that, hey, I had set this goal for myself, why am I not doing it? Which comes back to accountability on yourself, because no one's going to tell you. You can lie in bed, you can take a holiday whenever you want. Nobody's going to come and ask you. As long as work is getting done, that's what clients care about. And you should care about the fact that, okay, if I need 5 clients a month to meet my 1 lakh a month expenditure, it's on you to find those clients, source those clients, prospect, close, negotiate, right? There is a lot of there's a lot of hidden work that goes into freelancing that a lot of people don't talk about, because everybody talks about like, oh my god, I made like 20 million crores like last month, right? Nobody talks about the fact that you went to this person, you talked to this person, you got ignored, you got ghosted, blah blah blah. Like you have to really stay on your A game, and the only way to do that is to have a routine and to have systems in place, right? Like stick to whatever your system is, right? Like I will send an email on day 1, then on day 3, then on day 5, I'll call on day 7, whatever it is. Stick to it, because that's the only way you're going to succeed. And have those numbers in front of you that like, I need to make minimum say 1 lakh a month, and my aspiration is to make 2 lakhs a month. Now how am I going to make this shift, and how am I going to first hit that 1 lakh? If you see that number every day, you're going to get yourself out of bed. I guarantee you. Like stick it in your bathroom if you have to. You will definitely get out of bed. Like when you see that number.
That makes
Because
sense.
those bills have to get paid, right? Rent, electricity, khana, pina, laundry. Who's going to pay for it?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I think, and you need to get yourself up from it, because there is a big fall from what you've been earning in a very comfortable job to when you start. Yeah, and then you suddenly realize that all those parties that you were so happily enjoying now, like, now your time is the currency also. And that way, how do you kind of make the most of it, efficiently? What about you girls? How do you go about your day? She sounds very like, on it, like very routine specific. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God,
I think I have. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, sir, you can go ahead.
No, I think what I've done is I want to be Vanshi, but I am also me. So
Yeah,
I'm following a mid process. Fridays and Mondays, I don't know shit. it's Tuesdays to Thursdays is when I pull it through. And probably I'll kind of mix and match if it's a very important project or very important client I'm chasing, anything that I need to submit for a shoot or something like that on a Saturday. So first of all, I kind of have relaxed my days a bit. It's just that Mondays I'm gonna just do calls and I'm not gonna actually sit on the laptop and do a deck. To Tuesdays to Thursdays, I actually find again, as you know, I have a two to do's. I kind of am these app freak who'll go to a Evernote to try something new. Will go to this that I will see what is feasible for me, and I kind of have a very blocked time of when I'm gonna work and when I'm gonna talk. So that kind of helps me take that rest in minimum. Dinner is always heavy for me, so my lunch is always a very quick through, which is like, very easy for me to just have it on the go, and I'm okay with that. It's supporting my health as of now, but definitely doing something in I work out a bit in the sense like I just do yoga in the morning, which kind of just helps me put a lot of energy to my brain, and automatically I start my day by 8:30,
Yeah.
and by 10 I'm done like cooking and figuring out my whole day thing, and then I'm ready to sit down at 10, and I'm on till 7. I'm not gonna lie if I say I don't stretch till 9:30, but then I also have those 1 hour of I'm gonna watch Modern Family and finish the deck moment. So,
Yeah, I know. That's the
so
fun part, right?
I do that. But yes, the days of deliverable, I move out. I move away from my house, or I kind of go and meet, a colleague of mine who is working with me on the project, sit down in a cafe or book a workspace and just go kill it and then begin. So that's generally how my day is. Over to you, Saumya.
Yeah.
Yes.
As we were discussing this, I remember this meme I'd seen. So this is, this alarm tone, and that says, do you want to watch Netflix? Do you want to buy a coffee from Starbucks? So you better wake up, bitch. Like this was the whole tune that happened, and this is
Yeah.
going in my mind.
Yes.
Yeah. So
That's
that's
very
how.
nice.
Yeah. So in my case, so what I do is I usually plan my day a day before, like, all my tasks and all whatever I have in hand. So I usually have this, this habit of putting this paper clips, like small paper clips on my cupboard. And I write time, like, 3:30 I have to deliver this, 5 o'clock I have to deliver this, and 7 o'clock it's over, like all these things. So generally I plan this a day before. And if there's any, if there's any meeting scene, or, if there's any birthday party or something, so generally I make time for that. So whole day, I usually plan it like everything from activities to whatever my leisure time, from my lunch time, whatever it is, it always varies. Like every day is different. Sometimes I'm having lunch at 5, I won't lie. Sometimes having lunch at 1 p.m. So it always, it's different. Every day is a different story. But yeah, usually what I do is, just pre-planning whole of it, so that the day when I wake up is, usually seamless. And definitely, waking up is something that is the most difficult part for me, especially in winters, because I have I always put the alarm for 9:30, and I end up waking up at 10:30 or 10:45, because it's so difficult for me to come out from that. And that is one of the, whenever I'm sleeping, I thank myself for choosing freelancing because I have most of the jobs post 11 p.m. only. Like I have the day planned from 11 to 7. That's how it goes. So
That's how
yeah.
you plan it. Okay.
Yeah.
So there so girls, is there like one thing that you just absolutely do not compromise on? Like, one thing. So which you had to when you were in your corporate job. So like for me, it's like I'm not going to work on Saturday, Sunday. I'm giving it back to every agency that made me work on a Saturday, Sunday. And now for me as a rule, that's something I absolutely never do. No matter. I mean, I make sure that my clients know that, because when they're working alone, they tend to be like, "Arey, abhi to brief aaya hai, Friday ko raat ko kal jayega," because weekend for them is added. Obviously, it's maybe some exceptions. Like if I'm in the middle of a campaign, then that's something completely different, and I don't mind doing it because then I compensate. Not working over weekdays. But is there like one thing that comes to your mind? Uh, you know, um, that is something absolutely you chose for yourself after doing this, after switching to a freelance life.
Yeah, so a couple of things for me. So one was, my evening walks. So I have this, this disciplined routine from the very start that you have to go on a workout irrespective of whatever happens. It is a very healthy routine that my parents have set up. So when I was in corporate, I used to miss that a lot because 7:30 I used to be sitting in front of my laptop working, and then so this is something that I feel really happy about, that now as a freelancer that I always take out time for my the workout routine. And second thing, definitely weekends. So I remember in advertising when I used to crib a lot. I was on a Goa trip and I worked on a weekend. So that was the level
Feel
of
ya, girl. Yeah.
so,
We
but
all
not
have been.
that exactly that happened. And that was that was one of the moment, the turning points where I thought that I want to quit now. This is my, and that was my sister's bachelor's trip actually. And I was in Goa. I had informed everybody, and then they were like, this is really urgent. It has to go live, this, that, whatever. So now, this thing that, I've set my bar very clear that whatever happens, I'm not working on a weekend until unless it's, really like seriously very urgent, or, something like it will just blow out of proportion. Otherwise, if it can be delayed, if, it can be postponed, I'll not work on weekends. And this has generally, it has been going on well that, I usually enjoy, I take out my time for myself. I spend time with my family, go out with friends and all. So yeah, my weekend is generally a weekend carnival thing for me. So
That's
that's,
lovely.
yeah.
That's lovely. What about you both? There's something that comes to your mind that you're like, nahi, ye to nahi. Ab ye meri, this is my territory. Now I decide.
I think just the fact that I want to wrap my day by 6:30 max.
Okay.
So because again, and it's not about me. Anybody who is working with me, and I have retainers and things like that. So I have dedicated people also who is working with me. So I kind of tell them, I don't want to kind of work after 7. So in case if you want to work after 7 and you want to do it in your comfort zone, then let's always give a timeline
Absolutely.
one day after, so that
Right.
I can also give that feedback, and then things like that.
Okay, that's
Because after 7 is when I mentally switch off, and I'm also a social person. I like I like to meet new people. I like to go out for a good beer with a good friend, and meet 5 new people who I want to kind of work with. Like, that's generally how my stories are. And I want to do that. I want to be culturally active to draw that energy into me to flourish. Because if I don't see something new, how would I know that 5 people are talking about it? And I
right.
have been a strategist and a planner, so it was my job to always identify trends. And if I don't talk to you for saying that you have a breakdown once a week, then are we doing it? This should be written as a pointer for going solopreneur kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Over to
Absolutely.
you, Saumya, also. No,
But
yeah,
Uh,
Vansh.
so for me, I think when you're in a job, you don't really have the habit of telling everybody, "Ke, oh, I'm working as a graphic designer in this place. Oh, I'm working as a copywriter." But as a solopreneur, like, I think you're your biggest cheerleader. So anybody and everybody I meet, I tell them what I'm doing, who I'm working with, what are my biggest achievements. And it took me a little while to get okay with the fact that you have to flaunt yourself and market yourself and put yourself out there, because there's a huge market that's waiting for you, and that will only activate once you got the network effect in, right? So like, I literally go and tell everybody, like, irrespective if they care or not, unke kaan mein ghus gaya hai, like, they will hear it from me that I'm a brand strategist, I work with D2C in tech. And somewhere, like, it has happened so many times where, like, somebody's reached out, like, oh, hey, like, I'm this person is looking for someone, like, would you be interested? And I'm like, great. And you don't usually do that in a job. Like, you're just like, ha, theek hai, sabka job hai. You don't really flaunt it as much.
yeah,
But when you're a
yeah,
freelancer, you have an opportunity to do that. So why not? So anybody you meet, like, just go and tell them what you do. And like, since you have active audience, you might as well tell them and
absolutely.
talk about your accomplishments.
And we are usually taught otherwise, right? We're so shy in, sort of
Yeah,
flexing, so to
so
speak, as to what we
that's
do.
what, Vanshi, you're really inspiring me right away on this call. Because I started 3-4 months back, but I have not been able to speak. For me, I've always been this person, काम करो फिर बात करो, that as a
Exactly.
thing. पहले काम दिखाओ, just do it. first
Yeah.
and then we talk about it. So I've always been that attitude, and just to even self correct it is a discovery
Right.
path for self.
Yeah.
But yeah, talking about, like, I've just started, like, I've decided, okay, every day I'm gonna sit and write a small thing from my BrandSheep's page, not even my page. It has to be, the voice. It has to be. So it's great to see that
Yeah, and
you're
it's such a
inspiring
lovely
me
thing
to do it.
because unless you're like pitching yourself, how do you pitch your work? And that's such a like a way to put it out there. I'm still struggling with
And
that. I'm still
yeah,
struggling with
I
that.
also think that like when like the problem that I had with this was that I would be like, oh, I've only worked with this company. Oh, I've only worked with that
Yeah,
company.
yeah,
But for
yeah.
someone else, that is like really
Big
big,
deal.
right? Like
Yeah.
I worked with like, say for example, Coin DCX. I was like, हाँ ठीक है मैंने किया है. Like I don't even own up to my own work. Like I'm more like I'm just like Arunita in that aspect. I'm like यार recommendations है LinkedIn पे जाके देख लो, logos है website पे जाके देख लो. But then I think that is not the best way to do it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's why I started talking about myself. Like everybody has heard about me, and somewhere it registers in the back of their head, and you never know when that light will click on when someone asks them, like, "Hey, do you know a brand strategist?" Like, I'm starting to think about my own job, my own company. Then it'll click in their head कि वंशिका ने कुछ बताया तो था, अब याद नहीं है, but बताया तो था कुछ उसने.
And that's
So
a
that,
great thing. As that's how you build recall,
yeah.
which is a great thing. That's amazing. Aja, we're going to move to the last section. So, guys, now you've spoken about your journeys, and it's 3:45. So, I'm going to just do the last part where you can, if the people who are listening to this, there's one closing, line or something that because when I would be listening to this, I would be thinking of, that one thing that gives them the inspiration or the push to kind of keep, do this if they're confused or if they're wondering if I should do it because it took me a lot, it took me 10 years, to finally make that shift. So for a lot of people, what do you guys think, is there something you feel that comes from your journey that you want to like, impart to people listening to this? What would that be?
I'll go first. I think within freelancing, if you don't put yourself in vulnerable, scary places where you are doubting yourself, you're doing something wrong. Like, for example, recently I picked up a very large project with a very well known VC company, and I was while I was pitching, I was like, "Nahi, main nahi kar sakti." Like, it's just not like I won't be able to do it, and I got so scared, and then I actually called up my mentor and I said that. It's a very interesting project. I love what it is, but I just don't know if I have it in me. And he was like, just do it. I know you. Again, like he reaffirmed and reassured. And one thing he said, he was like, listen, at the end of the day, if the client is happy and you are happy, that's all that matters. And he was like, in projects where, for like, this is something again, he said very smart. He was like, in projects where you feel like you're not doing something right, stay more in touch with the client, like over communicate, be like, is this okay, do you like this, should I change this? Like, don't be a pest, but over communicate, because like if there is something wrong, you're giving them an option to tell you it's wrong rather than you self-critiquing and criticizing, because we are our worst enemies, right? We are the only people that tell ourselves that we can't do it. So that's, I think, one of my biggest learnings. And I think, if you get projects that you think are too big, too scary, not for you, not sure, ye kaise hoga, wo kaise hoga, honestly, it's one step at a time. Everything will get figured out, and over communicate to your client. Like, I don't think anything bad is going to happen. Worst case, what is going to happen is you're not going to get your money. Like, that is literally worst case, right? And
That's
if you know that you can even do like 80% justice to it, just take it up and figure it out along the way. None
I'm
of
going to
us,
take I'm
none
going
of
to take that one because I think a lot of like I feel that I'll come across dumb if I ask so many questions or this and that,
yeah,
do they think that acha itna nahi pata or why are you asking? But that makes a lot of sense because if we are in that relationship, we need to have a good
yeah,
communication.
and let them bring it up, right? Why are you putting your foot down and saying, "Yeah, I think I did this wrong"? Don't even
Yeah,
say that. Just
exactly.
ask, is everything okay? Is it good? Yeah, should I change something? No, good. Okay, cool. Approved. Done. I think that's the biggest lesson that I've learned over time.
That's lovely. Thank you. Thank you, Vanshika, for sharing that with us.
Um,
Saumya, Arunita.
Yeah, so one thing I've learned, through my freelancing journey is to be really selfish about your career. You need to be very, very much, your growth. It's at the end, it's your career, it's your growth. So what my philosophy has always been: you never be satisfied with your growth. Like, you should grow every day. You should come across challenges every day. If you have cracked one thing, for example, if you have got a very nice brands, TVC or something to crack, and you've cracked that, so don't get overwhelmed. Oh my goodness, I've done such a thing. Keep trying, keep challenging yourself, because this is how you grow. Because sometimes what happens in freelancing is there's no actual mentor. You're your own boss, so there's no guide who would guide you some ways, or who would tell you your scope of improvement or something. It's just, you get the brief, you have to execute, and if it's well appreciated, you think that, okay, oh my goodness, I did a great job. But this is not where it ends. You really need to keep on growing. You should never be satisfied with your growth level. You should challenge yourselves. Take out time for the sort of, what I do generally is take look at sort of advertisements, try to find out what its brief was, crack the brief, and then coin other ads, so that in this way I just keep on growing, and not just settle down on something. So that is one thing that I would really want to recommend, that never be satisfied with your growth. Like, keep going.
Important.
And yeah, like,
Because
be very
self-learning, like you said, self-learning is so important, because there's nobody either validating you or giving you feedback. Both cases, like
I
other than
agree.
the, yeah, that's true. So that makes a lot of sense. I think it's for all of us at any stage, even when we are doing this for like 20 years, 40
I
years,
actually,
still.
I'll just add on to this what Soumya also said, that I actually send a few of my work, which is kind of going live or something that my team is doing, actually to a lot of my friends.
Hmm.
Kind
Yeah.
of get a very active feedback that, oh, what do you like about it? What do you think about this? Just from an understanding and cross check on the fact that, something more can be done. And automatically I think all of us follow few people on LinkedIn who are the best in terms of, giving you a lot of intel and knowledge that is out in the world. So I think that in terms of feedback, the industry is definitely opening up.
Yeah.
uh,
Definitely.
Before it was a very like, who are you, what are you, kind of a person. Now it's far more approachable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more collaborative. I think the spirit
Yeah,
in itself,
yeah, correct,
and
correct, correct.
and people are also much more open to
Don't
give
shy away from
individual.
that is what.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, don't shy away from asking that help. I want to kind of just add on to, your say that what will somebody take away from this discussion. uh, you know uh, that one night of breakdown made me listen to myself, and that helped me, just 2 minutes of silence, listen to where I was hurting. And probably my job was not hurting, but all of it, the lifestyle was hurting back, right? So I listened and then I acted. So this is something that I kind of will tell everybody who is probably listening to this, or trying to find a sense of what is that takeaway, that listen to yourself, and take that pause and then go in the direction you want to. And obviously, don't be comfortable. Like, you have to be uncomfortable all the time. Like, you know, I walk into meetings and I'm like, am I dressed right? Because I'm always very like, what's up? And I will not wear power suits and things like that. Or probably I want to go into a client meeting in an auto, and then I'm getting actual people and owners of small companies coming and telling me, you need to, sometimes your client wants to see the car you're driving. And it is a lot of shusha, but I think ultimately what matters is the matter that you want to sell and talk about. So never compromise on that, compromise on anything and everything around it. So
yeah,
yeah.
that's true.
Very well said.
Thank you so much, guys, for being a part, taking out time, and from the schedule that you spoke of, so passionately. So I'm glad that you all took time and we came together for this. So thank you, guys. Bye bye.
Thank
And
you.
Bye.
lovely.
Bye,
Okay,
everybody.
bye.
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 Bye.